Welcome to Bendy. Join your two favorite transatlantic weirdos, Andy from Ireland and Beth from the USA, as we take you on a journey through every topic imaginable, with insight, vulnerability, and fart jokes, or in other words, the complete human experience.
Hello, and welcome to Bendy, a podcast about being flexible in all of the ways that means. Thanks for joining us. My name is Andy Young, and I'm one of your competitive, tactical hosts. Joining me, as always, is our other competitive and tactical host, Beth Martin. Beth, a pleasure as always. How are you?
I'm good. I know what the words mean this week. That's exciting.
Yeah, it was hard to choose some that were particularly suited to board game, and I was like, competitive and tactical is fine.
Uh-huh. And you know what's funny? I was like, oh, you just gave it away. But the episode title is up on the fucking website. So.
Yeah, this is the thing. They all
already know.
Basically going
They already know. And we're like...
We try to dance around it.
We do. And I feel like a fool.
No, that's part of the fun as well.
It's feeling like a fool.
Yeah. All the emotions.
Yeah, I'm good.
Good.
Yeah. So, do you want to know my crack?
Yeah, what's your crack?
My dog has conjunctivitis.
Oh no.
She has pink eye. So she looks so evil. Like you can't really see the iris of the not the iris, but the white part of the eye very easily because the iris of the dog is huge. Yeah. But when she's looking for snacks, with her eyeballs, and it's it was so red that I was like, you look like I'm treating it obviously, and got the ointment, I got her to the vet and everything, but it's gross because I have to put it in and then I have to open and shut her little doggy eyeball.
I've had to do that for Sasha before. It sucks.
Yeah. So and then she's trying to wipe it off, and then she's licking it off her her little paws and.
It's more I've noticed whenever I've done it to Sasha, you drop this thing in her and she's like, what the fuck, dude?
What did I do?
Why did you do this to me?
Yeah.
You're just I'm trying to help you.
I know, and I could tell she wasn't feeling well, and then the next day I was like, oh, something's happening here, and so I took her to the vet, and he was one of those vets that tells you way more than he should when there's a child in the room. So I brought my daughter, and he's like, there's this virus going around with all the dogs, and all these dogs are dying. And she's like, is our dog going to die? He's like, no, but we're all going to die someday. And I'm just like, oh my God.
Wow.
I know. He was great. And he was so good with the dog. He's he just basically crawled in the room and stayed on the floor the whole time while he was checking her out and examining her.
That's awesome.
But she also... We have palm trees here that have not coconuts. They have seeds that are maybe the size of a walnut, a whole walnut. And she's been sneaking them inside and chewing on them. We'll be on a walk and she'll scoop one up and then walk with it. So I don't even know it's in her mouth. And then I don't need to pant right now.
I don't have anything.
Yeah,
I'm good.
Just not.
I don't feel like barking.
Nope.
Right now, yeah.
Nope. Let's just get home.
Yeah,
and then she'll hide behind the couch and chew it. And I've been finding the husks, and I know she's doing it, and I find the seed. And so this vet, of course, was doing due diligence, and he looked in her mouth, and he's like, she has a cracked tooth. And I was like, okay, well, how about $2,000 American dollars to pull a tooth?
That's
so,
madness.
Do you remember when I was like, I pulled money out of retirement so we can pay our bills and da-da, and it's just when we start feeling we're kind of getting, it's we get a bill for $2,000 for something. Last year it was electricity.
It never ends.
No.
The bills.
Yeah, right? So that's the crack. That's the crack. My poor dog, man.
Fun.
Yeah.
Poor dog is right.
No.
So with me, so it is also kind of animal related. We have a mouse in the house, and
oh, let's talk about that. So do I.
Really?
It came back. I let it go, and it came back.
Apparently, you have to let them now. Who knows how true this is? You need to let them out of at least a mile and a half or something like that, or else they will find their way back. Because I remember, so before with my house, whenever I first bought the house, it was kind of not in poor shape, but it was like the kitchen was a bit of a mess. It was very out of date. Like all the kind of finishing on so much of the stuff was like poorly done. So there's lots of holes in the walls. So for a while, we had multiple mice in. We had rats in, which was not good.
Yeah.
So that that's when it was like we started patching these things up, but you can only do so good a job. Whenever I got a new kitchen put in, I was like seal up every hole, all of them, because I even had a frog in the house one time. And it's like, dudes, this is getting out of hand. If frogs aren't trying to get into your house, if frogs are getting in, then that's a problem. There are big gaps in security here, you know.
Do you have a dog? Do you have a doggy door?
No.
Okay.
I don't know how this mouse has got in, because like I haven't had a mouse for like 3-4 years. Like since the kitchen's been put in, it hasn't been a problem. So I don't know how he's made his way in. So it's a case of trying to figure out how he's got in and kind of.
He's been sitting in the wall for years, just waiting.
Plotting his revenge. I've seen him. I literally just before this podcast, I went to get myself a cup of tea and he was there and I was like, "You bastard!" And then he ran off. But he's he's a big boy.
His name is You Bastard. His name is You Bastard.
Yeah. He's a big boy for a mouse, so maybe he has been in the walls for a few years. Who knows? Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. But so yeah, that's been fun. And something else I mentioned to Beth earlier, I had a part-time job and I went into the job the other day. It's a 30-minute drive to my job and I was told I'm no longer working there. And that it's anybody who works in any sort of workplace will be kind of familiar with this, but like you know, basically management, there's like layers of management between you and the top brass and the people that are making these decisions. And that guy who made the decision knew a week ago and was supposed to call me and had just neglected to do so. And I was like, oh, great. Yeah.
So you drove an hour round trip.
An hour round trip. And there's a part of me like who that is pretty pissed off, and other people will be raging in that situation. But like there's also part of me who doesn't really want to do things. He's like, yes, a free Sunday. I get to do nothing today.
Keanu Reeves now has an Instagram account, and like he did something. He's really funny. He did something about like being an introvert and like, you know, he's like, okay, I'm gonna make a phone call, and he's like, this is like pre-making the phone call. He's meditating. He's like taking a walk in the garden.
Yeah.
He's having a cup of tea. He's like talking to himself in the mirror, and then like makes the call, and it goes to answering machine. A voicemail. Nice. And he's just like, like you can see the joy.
You can totally see in how he interacts and he does interviews. You can see that he's an introvert. I don't think he's crazy about that side of things. Like whenever they were promoting the most recent Bill and Ted film, like him and Alex Winter were getting interviewed together, and Alex Winter was definitely better at it than him, and like
has
they talk
less
about
experience.
He's got less. Yeah, he's got far less experience, but like he's clearly not as much of an introvert as Keanu is, and like they were talking about like how they still got they remained friends from the first two Bill and Ted movies, and they could go and get dinner, and people are just like, oh, it's Bill and Ted eating dinner together, and like Alex Winter was always the more vocal of the two, you know. He would always be better prepared for like strangers just coming up to them, you know.
There's just like all these memes about how we don't deserve Keanu.
No,
and I'm like,
he's the best. Like,
yeah.
And like so much stuff comes out about him that like you don't find it till years later. Like I can't remember what it was. He
donates money. The stuntmen.
A lot of the stunt people on the Matrix movies, and he just gives them money because it's like, you guys are like risking your bodies for this, and you know, he's just
the John Wick movies. Does he drive motorcycles?
He doesn't.
Okay, he bought all of his stunt crew their own motorcycle.
I heard this. Yeah.
And like he donates money, and then like anonymously, and then you know someone leaks that information that he's like, you know, I think his sister had leukemia, and so like he's that hospital he donated money to, like the Leukemia Foundation, all that kind of stuff. I'm just
he is he's an aspirational celebrity. He's the sort of celebrity all celebrities should be. But like he just seems like a good dude, and that feels rare.
Yeah,
sadly,
it like feels good that there is a good dude in the world. Yes. And I feel that about you too. So
thanks.
You're like,
thank you.
Yeah, right.
I just need the Matrix to launch me properly.
That's it. That's
maybe
it.
The podcast is.
Maybe
The podcast
here you
My
go.
the Matrix.
Right.
Okay, sweet, perfect. No, but yeah. Keanu's consistently a lovely dude.
I know. Yeah. Do you want to talk about occurring? What's occurring?
Yeah, Beth. So Beth, what's occurring?
So we have a YouTube page. You can find it on our website, or just like go to search YouTube for Bendy or Bendy the podcast, and it'll come up. You can listen to our episodes on that platform. We also have snippets of all of our episodes, and we're getting some traction.
Yeah.
So I would just love it if people could that are enjoying the videos and liking the videos and commenting on the videos, subscribe. I'm doing some self-promotion, but if you could subscribe, that would be amazing.
Absolutely. Yes, please.
Please.
Thank you.
Yes, thank you. And then our first 3 pieces of merch are available on our website.
Nice.
So I showed one of them to Andy, but it might involve a Halloween turnip. I'm very proud of it.
That's great.
I know.
I've seen that one. It's fantastic.
Yes. So check the website out, bendypodcast.com. Check YouTube, and then if you feel like buying some stuff that makes no sense to anyone but our listeners.
Which to me is the very, very best kind of t-shirts and things like that. The ones that make no sense whatsoever. Nearly like, all my t-shirts are like that.
Sometimes, yeah, it's like if you know, you know. Hashtag.
Yes.
I'm not going to do the acronym because that's too long.
I think though, like, I don't think I have ever been in a situation where I've worn one of my t-shirts and somebody's went, "Oh, I know what that's from." Not once. Yeah. or they think it's from something different. I'm like, no,
you didn't get the reference, you idiot.
It's fine. It's fine.
So
we're not going to be friends, I guess.
I know, right? But yeah, we're creating stuff, and we're just, we're rolling with this. So thank you to everyone who's kept up with us and continuing to listen, and we hope that you are laughing and enjoying 2 friends chatting. And I think what this is sort of morphing into is like storytelling.
Yeah.
So storytelling, comedy across the pond. So
very much so. This is our niche genre.
I know. I love it.
Me too.
So thank you, Andy, for doing this with me.
Yeah, and thanks to you too.
Yeah.
Just friggin' Beth and I just shaking hands across the don't we rule? I was like, yeah, we do.
What about you?
So my occurring is that I recently got some feedback on audio side of things from people who've done a bit of audio engineering, and it's been useful stuff, I think. And certainly my aim is to kind of keep improving the audio quality of the podcast, sort of going forwards. I think I have been getting steadily better at it, at the editing job. So hopefully, it'll be a more pleasurable listening experience going forwards. Like, I think even from early doors, like from our first few episodes, we were getting good feedback on the sound quality and stuff. So I'm happy with that. But I feel like there's always improvements to be made. So I'm planning to continue on doing that. One of the improvements that I made was I found that my microphone was the wrong way around. So it has now been adjusted. So that should help, right? I literally just saw a photo of the microphone that I bought set up, and I was like, "Oh, that's not how mine looks." So it's now correct.
Do you remember when we recorded the episode and I had my mic off the whole time? It's like, neither of us know what we're doing. Like, no. I've never run a YouTube channel. I've never edited video clips and captions, and you've never done sound editing for a podcast. Nope. So we are not, everyone's got like a team of people helping them. We are the team of people helping us.
Yeah, we're the team. I know. It is always, and it's happened to me in other situations, like where I've been organising stuff, most recently the choir, and people have said to me, can somebody in your team handle it? And like, team? I am the team.
This is it.
But yeah. So yeah, it's nice. But yeah, it's been good.
Put your microphone backwards.
Yes. It wasn't backwards. No. It was more the wrong
facing
orientation.
the wrong direction.
So it was facing the top of the mic rather than the side of the mic, which is what it should have been doing.
I see.
So not completely back and front. That would have been disastrous. But like, still enough that I'm like, oh.
We should just record the back of our heads.
Oh yeah, we should do that. Just do it for an episode of Back of the Head episodes. We should do that for our the episode where we both speak. I speak in an American accent. You speak in an Irish accent.
Yes.
Oh, that's gonna be unlistenable.
No one's gonna listen to it.
No. Absolutely unlistenable.
Well, that was a good one. That was like a butt guster. What's that?
Yes. That's it. The people at home have that to look forward to.
They
us doing accents awfully. Probably. I mean, who knows?
Maybe. You'll never know until you see the title of the episode.
Exactly. You got to keep listening.
Do you want to jump? Sorry.
So
I have the giggles.
Okay, get those giggles out.
I'm covering my mouth.
Okay.
Do you want to get into our topic?
Yes, I will. So, this
Unveil
week's topic, and one that is very close to my heart, is board games, in an episode we're calling Board Game
Therapy.
Which is, fitting, I think, in terms of what we've been talking about, tying board games into a lot of the sort of things we talk about. Board games, and for many who've seen any of our videos, are clearly important to me. I have, at least 40 to 50 visible in the background of my office. I did air quotes around office there.
Your board game room?
Yeah, my board game room. Like, that's really what it is. Like,
I know.
My board game room. And so, like, they're definitely something that's very important to me. They have been a great way in my life to make connections with people, to kind of, like, even professionally, some of my jobs, they've been a great icebreaker. They've been a great way to kind of get people to open up, because it's like it's not like talk to me, which is really kind of can be almost confrontational at times. Whereas if you set somebody down in front of a game, and especially if it's something straightforward enough to pick up, it can be a good way to start building connections with somebody quite quickly, I think.
Mm-hmm. So you do that with your job?
So with the pet therapy stuff that I do, I take... So
smart.
Yeah. So just in terms of, I'll talk about my history, sort of like using it in work things, but like, I had played board games a lot when I was younger, but the usual suspects like Monopoly and
Life.
So we call Cluedo. I think I told you this before.
You did, and I was like, that's wrong.
What? Yeah, so Cluedo, things like that, right? Just those ones, the
Are they named like Colonel Mustard and...
Yeah.
Okay.
I think it's identical. It's just,
Mr.
it's
White,
for whatever reason, Clue and Cluedo.
Scarlet. Okay.
Who knows? Yeah, exactly. Then, like, and I probably played a few other things here and there in my 20s, but it's only when I went to Taiwan in particular, because I did 2 years in Taiwan. First year in Taiwan, very difficult in terms of I really struggled to like make friends and things. I just didn't know. I was like a guy in my 30s. I didn't really have any colleagues that I could befriend, really. There was some people I talked to a bit, but nobody I was super close with. And I was like, oh no, what I do? So I'd always kind of wanted to get into board games more. I wanted to learn more about what was out there, and I had friends who were starting to like dip their toes a bit more into it back home. So I found this group of board gamers in Taiwan, and like I made contact with them, and I kind of opened up my experience there. I made some friends. I was actually, friends of my own. I was able to like go and do things with people, and like they were such a they had such a kind of wide range of tastes that I got to experience so many different types of games, the stuff that I liked, stuff that I didn't like. So it was a really kind of lovely experience. But like off the back of that, I started taking games into schools, into like, because I would be like, whenever I was in Taiwan, I was doing ESL, so teaching students of, I think mostly up to about 13, 14 was my oldest student, English. So what I would do is I would have a class and we'd go through our work stuff and say, look, at the end, we can play a game. And I had a few that always worked quite well. I tried some stuff that didn't work out so well, but by and large, it was something that they really loved to play, and it was like, if we're playing it, we're speaking in English. So like it was a way to kind of, you know, get them interacted, like, you know, and it worked pretty well.
It's like when you don't focus on something and you're trying to learn it, right? It becomes like
natural.
Yeah. Second nature, whatever.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And then recently doing the pet therapy, like it's a lot of students who are maybe like anxiety, depression. So obviously I'm there with Sasha. If kids want, they can just go over and give her a cuddle and they don't have to talk. But I have games there. We play games. Like some of the students who like didn't say a word at first are just like now, like, you know, months later, like just speaking so much. There was one student in one of my classes who really didn't speak at all. She always wanted to come back. She enjoyed being there, but she just didn't want to speak. And like I would hear like 2 words from her on a good class. In just before Christmas there, she started talking to me a little bit more. She started talking to me about like playing the Walking Dead game on her like iPad with her mum, and how her mum doesn't want her to watch the show just yet because it's too violent. And I finally got her to play a game of cards with us all because she just wouldn't. And I was like, yes, just nice and slowly, kind of like just creating a safe space for them, which I think depending on the people, board gaming can be a nice sort of welcoming environment. We're just having a bit of fun, you know, can really kind of help people come out of their shell a bit more, you know. So yeah. What's your experience with board gaming? Or sorry, did you have follow-up questions to that?
No, I can talk about my experience with board gaming. And I think, do video games kind of count?
Nah, I think we can maybe do a separate episode of video games.
Okay,
you know,
okay,
yeah.
okay.
I'm talking about anything non-digital, so like anything, some digital stuff, I guess, but like, you know, card games, board games, you know, even like you know, playing card games. There's a whole variety of stuff. I think all kind of counts under that.
I guess
you know,
that's good because I only have I have an NES and an N64, and that's my.
Oh yes, I played the NES.
You did. And then it broke, and then I got out my original one from 4th grade. Nice. I have to wedge a piece of cardboard in to get the game to play.
I've had that.
Yep. So yeah, like as a kid, normal like Monopoly Life, Clue, Scrabble, chess.
Yep.
Just the usual games. And then I was a teacher's assistant for like 6 years in high school and in college. And so this is going to be terrible. This shows the difference between you and I. So it was my job to play with children, right? Like Guess Who and all these, you know, Battleship and all these games. But I would play as an adult. Not an adult playing with a child, right?
Oh, so you're like, I'm going to destroy this.
I'm going to destroy this. This is like, I'm going to annihilate whoever is sitting on the other side of the table.
Sure.
So I always won. It was really great for my ego.
You're like, boom, I suck your battleship.
Again, boom.
Flip the table, yeah. I love it.
Horrible.
I mean, it's an important lesson for them to learn, you know, at an early age.
It is. Yeah, you're not going to win everything.
No, not at all.
Big people have all the power. It's horrible. It's horrible.
That is
Yeah. I just, you know, same at tetherball, whatever.
And would you have played then stuff when you were younger with your like parents or something like that? Would they have?
A lot. So a lot of card games. Like my dad taught me how to like gambling games like blackjack.
Yeah.
Or 21, depending on what you call it. Like War. Played a lot of War. Do you ever play War?
No, I don't think I know that.
Okay, it's just like deck of cards, and whoever gets the highest, you take those cards, and then if you have I'm not going to get into the rules. It's kind of boring. But if you both like throw a 2, then you have to go to war, and then you drop like 3 cards, and then whoever has the top cards. It's a whole thing. I can teach you how to play when I see you.
Yeah, I have. Yeah, I have not.
And
heard of it.
I'm gonna annihilate you.
Probably.
And then I took like a hiatus, I think, and then I think it really was when we were in Costa Rica. And
oh yeah, because I brought board games.
You brought board games with you to a yoga retreat in the jungle, and we had board game night. Yeah, and I remember, like, it was so fun, Andy. We laughed so hard.
We did.
We were playing like Rhino Hero, which is like a stacking game, and you're like moving the rhino around. And I just have there's some pictures of us, and I'm like dying laughing in every photo, and like I think I'm the reason that the whole tower fell.
Yes, I can't remember, but yeah, it was so much fun.
And then now we've got kids that like that's become a way for us. Yeah, so now basically like I'm reliving my childhood, but I'm on the other side of it. Yeah. So we play. When you visited, was it last year? We went to the game store when all the ladies fell in love with you. And he's got an Irish. I remember following you around, this Irish man, right, at like a gamer store. Yeah, that's true. And also, when I was pregnant, Mike and I played a lot of board games because I couldn't drink, I couldn't so we played a lot of. He doesn't like competitive games. He likes games that you can do together, cooperative games. So we played a lot of those like more cooperative style games. Nice. That were pretty fun. So, but yeah, I'm awesome. I'm all about the board games.
I think, I mean, I don't, again, it's a generalization, but I think the sort of like people in the US seem to be more literate. Like you'll find a lot of people over here who know Monopoly or know like Clue or Cluedo, and that's about it, really, you know?
There are ones that like everyone plays as a child. There's like 10 probably 15 where it's just like you're born knowing how to play them.
Yes, that feels fair. Like, and even things like, you know, do you have like Hungry Hippos? Yeah, things like that.
I played giant Hungry Hippos at an arcade once.
Nice.
Yeah, where you sit on a hippo and you're like, hell yeah. I think it was at one of the amusement parks, like Legoland or something.
That's great.
So it's like too much money and not enough tickets.
Of course.
To buy like a cup, a $50 cup.
Yeah. With nothing in it. Yeah. So I think that like as I say, it just feels. I mean, it's certainly been my experience. Like, I don't know if you heard of Settlers or Catan. Mm-hmm. Settlers of Catan. Big here. So it's huge, and it's such a massive one. And it's like, I mean, that game's nearly. It's got to be at least 20, 30 years old now.
With all the expansion packs. Like different like worlds and all of it. Like it's kind of like how Lego was like, oh, we'll just like give you directions to build something cool instead of just like buying like an assortment of Legos. Genius.
And like it's probably like in terms of me, like I prefer like a lot of people seem to like find a game and then love a game, and I totally respect that, but I kind of want to like see different games all the time, and I want to like find different sort of, you know, variations or different sort of rule sets mixed together or different sort of game types mixed together and kind of see how they work. You know, I'm always kind of wanting to evolve with the hobby, you know, but again, I think that like the difference in that regard, and that's something I wanted to get to, is that like when it comes to board gaming, I'm not really that competitive. I don't really care. I mean, it's nice to win. But I don't care if I do. Like, I think in video games, it's a little bit different. I definitely think I'm more competitive there. I think I'm probably better at them, honestly. Like, certainly the online stuff, when I was younger, I used to be pretty decent. So, like, but at the same time, that also ruined video games for me, because I was like, if I did poorly, I would be angry. And I'm like, this is not this is not healthy. Like, this is my downtime, and I'm like, no,
Ah!
no. It's like, this isn't good. So
Screaming
I
at
don't
the
really
mouse.
get.
You
Yes.
bastard!
Yeah. Why did you let me lose? You made me miss that shot. So I think that like board games are definitely better for me in that regard because I just enjoy the experience more and I enjoy learning a new thing and I figuring out how it works and how all the kind of pieces fit together. You know.
I think I'm I think I'm competitive, but I also am happy when other people win, if that makes
Mm.
sense. Like there are
Yes.
people that like if they don't win, it kind of like ruins their day or whatever, and
Yep.
I'm not like that at all. I
No.
like take it seriously like hardly at all, and it's more fun to, you know, the banter, you know, is kind of what I
Exactly.
enjoy. Like you're gonna lose, or you know,
Yep.
you suck. Haha, I got the.
It's and I think that's such an important part of it. I think that's one of the things that I really love about it is I feel like you find out things about people by playing games with them that you just don't find out otherwise. I think you may do over time, but I think it gets to like the meat of a of a person faster. You really can understand how they tick in a lot of ways, and depending on what the game is, a lot of ways, and I think there's something really nice about that. Like, for me, who maybe struggles to, socially, like I wouldn't really go up and start a conversation with somebody, but like, I probably need to background this a little bit as well.
I'm
So,
learning so much about you. I love it.
so
Background and all, baby.
you know some of this. So I have been to a board game convention. I've been to a few different board game conventions, and the one that I've been to multiple times is in Essen in Germany. And in I'm gonna get these figures wrong. It's either like over a 4 day period they had, I think in their biggest year, either 250,000 or 500,000 people, which is staggering numbers. Like, it's absolutely huge. And because of the nature of that fair, and because like at that fair there's like hundreds, if not close to 1,000 games released at that fair, so people come from all over the world to visit it.
Whoa.
It's
I didn't
awesome.
know that.
And I think either the first trip or the second trip out, some of the guys I was with were wanting like to have a lie-in the next day, but I'm such an early riser and I'm like, I don't really want to stick around.
Lie in
I just
meaning
want to,
sleep in?
yeah, sleep in, yeah.
Okay.
And I was like, I just want to go in. I just want to, because I'm really enjoying this. I'm really enjoying the atmosphere, and I just like sat down at a table, and I think there was a French person there, a Brazilian person, and I think a German, and so the language that you all shared was English, and we played a game, and we had good fun, and we just went from table to table, and like we did like 3 or 4 different games together, until the rest of my friends turned up, and it was like, what a lovely way to get to know these people
Have
from
a
all over the
complete
world.
international experience
Yeah,
and make
and I
friends.
very much so, and I think that really sort of speaks for me one of the big strengths of board gaming in terms of like how it's almost like a shared language, and like I think there's a lot to be said for complex games, but games that really don't require language as such, you can be playing with somebody and that's how you're communicating with them, which I think is really kind of quite beautiful.
Can I ask you a question?
Mm-hmm.
Like, when did you know in your life, like, I love board games, or like, was there a moment, or was it just like, was there a game, or was it just like, this is my life and it's awesome and I love like board
Um,
games are just part of it?
like it took me to get it. I remember, it's interesting because when I think about it, there's been a number of times in my life that I've done this where I've been like, I want to get into something, and then I do eventually. Like I make a real effort for it, but with like it was Taiwan definitely where I was like, I kind of saw what was on offer, what the scope of board games were, and I was like, whoa, there's so much here, there's so much to explore, and that's quite exciting to me. And like, I mean, like even so, the two games that we played, on our Korea trip, or not Korea trip, sorry, our yoga retreat was Rhino Hero, which is a dexterity game which is you're trying to stack cards on top of each other. It's hilarious and it's so much fun. And the other game that we played was called Shifty Eyed Spies. And
Oh, I forgot about Shifty Eyed Spies. Right? I couldn't remember what the game was.
So, and like in it, what you're trying to do is you're trying to like secretly communicate with other people around the table with like winks and nods and stuff. And it's the funniest thing ever. And it's like such a kind of, and it's like, even within those two games, such a like wide selection of experiences and such very different experiences that are just like connect you in a way that you just wouldn't happen otherwise.
And I remember like there was so much laughter happening that people were walking by and just coming up being like, what are you doing here? And we're like, playing board games. And they were like, I'll sit down. Like, and it just like people, it's definitely like you are already someone who likes to gather people together, right?
Yes, it's true.
And it's like one of your secret spy tactics to do that.
That's true.
And it totally works. I saw it happening and I was like, this is amazing.
So to answer your question, which was when did I think, because as I say, I'd always been interested in doing it, but it was whenever I remember clearly a night in Taiwan, and I was like, I had reached out to these guys, so there was a group that met, and I played games, and they were like, look, we're going to a guy's house this evening, we're going to stay up late, we're just going to play a load of different stuff, do you want to come over? And I'm like, yes. And I still remember that night, and we played like this social deduction game, which is like Werewolf. No, it wasn't Werewolf, but you've maybe heard of Werewolf?
I haven't.
Okay. It's a fairly kind of famous one where like basically, no, I won't explain Werewolf, but
I'm writing it down. So I'll look it up later.
So we played a social deduction game. We played this dice rolling game. We played this like dexterity game, and I was like, "Whoa, this is incredible!" And I don't stay at things late. I can't be bothered. Two things will keep me late: board games or karaoke. Those are the things that will keep me there at like 3 or 4 in the morning. Otherwise, I'm like at 11 going, oh, well, time for bed for me, you know. But I was just like, this is incredible, and I think that is definitely the point where I was like, I know I'm going to get right into this. I'm probably going to spend a lot of money in this. Like even within that year, I had 3 boxes worth of games I had to ship back to the UK. Yes, I really got carried away. So yeah, I think that was very much the turning point for me, where I was like, I'm all in.
Literally.
Like even for our Essen trips, Beth, we used to take empty luggage, like
just to buy
pieces of luggage just to put games into.
Yeah, people do that with like shopping, but not necessarily board games. So
unless you're us,
right? This is okay. So I guess you're mentioning like dexterity, like there are categories of games that I'm not aware of. What are some of those?
Okay.
Sorry to put you on the spot.
Yes, so no, it's quite all right. No, I think I'll talk about it vaguely because you can really get into the weeds in this stuff. But dexterity games are a variety of stuff. So I would say Rhino Hero is a dexterity game.
Jenga would be dexterity.
Yes, exactly. Okay. It's a very good example of a dexterity game. And then I guess you have, broadly speaking, you have things like worker placement, which is you essentially have pieces and you're putting those pieces on the board for an effect of some kind. You have things which are very popular.
Would that be like Settlers of Catan?
Yeah. Okay. I think Settlers is kind of worker placement. It's an early worker placement, I guess. Yes, it kind of is. Okay. It's negotiation, I guess. And anyway, I guess this is why I'm going to try to keep this short. Okay. Then you've got things like deck builders, which is a relatively recent phenomenon. Like it's about 15, 20 years old, which is not that, which is still pretty young in board game terms. Where you're like, you've got a deck of cards, you're adding cards to that deck to make that deck better, to play that hand, like the deck, and you kind of do things with that. So yeah, there's such a wide scope of stuff. Like it's crazy. There's even like, there's a game type called Euros. So European types, and they're seen as heavy and kind of like thinky. There's also, and please don't take offense, there's a section of games called Ameritrash, which are very, Ameritrash. No, I was only joking. I knew you wouldn't care. Ameritrash are like games with high production values, but the mechanics tend to not be great. Which is, it's kind of insulting for some of them because some of them are actually quite good and actually quite well put together, but those are kind of the big sort of sweeping generalizations, you know. I'm going to get so many corrections in this episode from people.
All the gamers
I guarantee. Andy, right, we need to take you to task on this. But it's just, it's truly hard to imagine how big the scope is. Like, I still discover stuff where I'm like, wow, okay, this is cool. I hadn't even considered that this would be an option right now, you know. It's great. It's just such an I think, you know, for something that is considered to be a nerdy hobby, I think it's quite exciting, and it's got such a wide range of stuff, and I think it is in its essence like way more social than people realize, you know.
How do you become a board game designer?
You just make a game.
Why did you do that?
Like so,
have you done this?
We started to, and it never came to anything. We got quite far along. I was going to see if I even have.
Oh my god.
Haha, I do.
He's got like a...
So like these are some of the cards that we made and stuff.
Closing right bell. There. Oh my gosh.
So we had put together something.
He just showed me like a little box and a card, just for those listening.
Yeah, I did. We'll
but like he had it right there.
I did have
almost
it right
like
there.
I was going to ask that question.
I know. Yeah, no, I didn't realize it was there. I'm actually surprised it was close to hand, but it's hard, and like here's the problem with a lot of games is that to construct games in an interesting way, you have to be quite math focused because you know you have to like have a satisfying sort of oh god, I'm not going to be able to talk about this in a proper way, but like I think you know certain ratios make things more satisfying to play basically.
Yeah.
So you have to have an understanding of that, and you have to kind of build that in. So it's quite hard to build a game that has that satisfying kind of loop. So I think that's where the problems come. But like people try it all the time, but it's like it is very much like a lot of these kind of nerdy pursuits. So like, you know, one of the things I want to do is like write comics. I will not if I start writing comics and I become top of my game, I will not make very much money at all because that is not, and it's the same with board games. It's like there are at that festival I told you about like close to 1,000 games, if not more, released at that festival.
That's
you really need to be special.
Flooded market.
To stand out, you know, it's very difficult to, and like games gain traction in a way that you maybe wouldn't expect, you know, for different reasons. So it's a tough place to really kind of make your mark.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so you're on a
no, go on.
desert island. It's deserted,
mm-hmm.
and you have a number of people with you. I'm not going to limit that. You have 3 games to pick from to take with you or whatever scenario. I'm not setting this up well.
No, I understand. My desert island board games.
Yes.
So I have one called Bahansa, which I... No, sorry. Wait. I've been getting this name wrong for so long. It's called Bonanza. It's just spelled. It's got an H in it, and for whatever reason that makes me pronounce it Bohanza. I don't know. Anyway, it's incredible. What I love about it, and one of the things I think that is why it's so interesting is that everybody's engaged all the time. Like one of the big problems I have with a lot of games is that like in downtime between your turns, you've got nothing to do. Whereas everybody's always engaged at all times, and it's like a negotiation sort of game. And I think the deals and stuff that are made and the interaction that goes along with that is really, 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 really good fun. That's one. This is gonna be a tough one for me. Do you have any that you would take in that scenario while I have a think and a look?
Yeah. Chess.
What do you have? What do you got?
Chess. I love playing chess. Seriously.
So just 3 chessboards in case they get worn out.
I know, right? Cards Against Humanity.
Yeah.
Where we actually cross. I think, did we play this when you came?
I've played Cards Against Humanity.
With us?
No.
Because we cross them out and write even worse things.
Well,
They're so bad that I cannot repeat them.
So do you know Apples to Apples?
Mm-hmm.
It was the kind of so it was the kind of progenitor is the one the version of that you can actually play with your kids basically. Yeah. So I remember because I played Apples to Apples first, and like with a group of adults that game can be kind of perverse and sick. Whenever Cards Against Humanity came along, I was just like, it's just easier. Apples to Apples, you know.
Yeah. So I think that in terms of like overall benefit, the laughter aspect, like
yes.
the joy I get is watching my friend and Mike play together.
Mm-hmm,
I call them the gross twins, and they just sit there and like cross things out and then like throw a card down and like make each other cry laugh. And like Mike cry laughing is one of my favorite things to see ever.
I have to see that.
It's so good. It's so good. You'll see.
Okay.
And then I would say my other one would be Sushi Go, which you bought for our family. Yeah, at the game store.
Yeah, I'm glad you like it. Yeah, it's
when everyone was trying to take you away and put you in a van. It's just easy. Like the kids, it's like cute. It's kind. The kids love to play it, and I love sushi just in general. Yeah. So, and you know, it's a gift from you. So those would be my top three. Yeah.
No, good. It's
one of yours made it.
Yes, I'll take it. I think the other ones that the ones that occur to me immediately. There's one called Tuluva that I love. It's like a tile placing game, but it's like a volcanic island, so you're kind of building up this sort of structure. It's just one of these things that I love the game. It's so much fun, but it's beautiful to look at once once you're finished with it. And I really kind of like the aspect of it. I think as well, and it's going to be a really basic option. Is I really love Ticket to Ride, which is like you may have even heard of that one. It's pretty famous. It's seen as like so there's a certain subsection of games that are called gateway games that like gateway drug type of thing that are seen as like if you're introducing people to the hobby, these are the games that you should get them to play. So Ticket to Ride is a game. Why it's still close to my heart is I think it's a great game. I think it always has been, but it's one that I was able to bring to my parents. They were able to play it. They were immediately able to understand it and be competitive with it. And we play it at least once a year. Like we always play it on Christmas now every year at a minimum, and we play other stuff as well. And it's always great fun. Like just kind of whenever you like take somebody else's route and it's like, oh, you bugger, you've taken my route.
I love that you still play board games with your family.
Yeah. I tried, and it's we've done
like in our culture, unless you have kids, like you just kind of let that just it falls away.
It's a shame. It's such a shame, I think, because I think it's just a nice time. Because like so many people are like, oh, I don't have anything to talk about with my like parents, and it's like, well, play a game with them or something.
And you're like, something. Look at my wall.
Yeah, dude. Like we even took my folks out to play mini golf recently, just as something we could do together, and they had a blast. So it was. But yeah, I think off the top of my head, I'm sure that is a list I would want to revisit. I think the only thing for sure is Bonanza will always be on that list. I think it's my favorite game ever.
Oh, wow! So you do have one.
I think that would be the one. Yeah, for sure. I think it's such a. I don't think anybody I've let try that game hasn't loved it. I think it's really amazing.
Is it BON?
BOHNANZA.
Oh, sorry. Okay, thank you. I'm just gonna hunt it down.
But like there's so much other stuff. Like there's the sort of there's a series of games called Timeline that I think are really great, and they really kind of work well with kids. It's like basically you have one that's like music, or you have one that's British history or whatever, and within the 10 there are cards. On one side it's an image of something that happened in history, and on the other side the same image but with a date on, with a year on it, and you basically have to set stuff up in line when you think like it happened. Yeah, exactly. It's great. It's really good fun. And it's a good one that you can kind of like say it's a bit educational as well. Like whenever I was trying to like first like introduce the idea of playing games to schools and stuff like that, and they're a bit kind of like games, you know, it's like, oh, it's educational, it's history and things like that, you know. And the kids like really like it too, so.
Do you ever cheat?
No. And that's a hard no for me. I just don't.
Okay.
It's just not. I don't see the point, really. I know people that do a lot, and there's certain games when I kind of get it, and it's okay. Like there are some of those like social deduction games I think I told you about, where it's all about lying and stuff like that. I think it's all that's part of the part of it.
Right.
So I think that's fine, but I've known most of the people I know that have cheat because it's in a competitive situation and they want to win and they want to like the accolades of beating this person, or I guess the prize money and stuff as well, you know. So I can see that as a motivating factor.
Do you gamble when you play games? No,
I don't really like gambling. I have a little here and there in the past, but
you're like, I lose.
Yes. I mean, like, I remember going to a casino in Australia when I was like, had hardly any money. I was like, I have 50 Australian dollars, and like within 5 minutes I had 0 Australian dollars.
You're like, that wasn't 5 minutes worth of fun.
No, I'm done. I'm also aware that I have kind of an addictive personality, so like I don't really want to get into gambling because it would be terrible for me, you know. So it's just stay away from that. No.
PSA, don't do that.
No. Yeah, exactly. Stay away from gambling. Do you like to gamble?
How many games? No. And like we go to Vegas fairly often, and like $20.
Yeah.
And it's
a
like
bit of fun. Yeah.
Yeah,
like,
you know, and I'll play like jacks or better, and for an hour I can get you know, a couple drinks.
I like
and
blackjack, maybe for like half an hour at a table, and then I'm just like, okay, good enough.
And like we'll do like roulette, and Mike will be like, put it all on black, and then we lose, and then we're like, all right, well, let's go walk the strip.
I think like as long as you've got a healthy attitude towards it, and you've kind of got like, this is the amount of money that I'm spending, and that's me done, then it's good. Yeah.
And I got that from my grandma. Like she would go to Atlantic City. $20, that was it. That's all she would spend. And
good for her.
Yeah. But they're like, we have friends that will stay up all night and just gamble and gamble and gamble. And like, sometimes it's like, I won, la la. And I'm like, but how much did you lose? Like,
yes.
You know, we don't hear about that side of things.
No.
But, okay, I'm going to ask you a question.
Yep.
How many games do you have?
Oh.
Ish.
Probably in the range of within 150 to 200, I would say.
Would you say you're addicted to board games?
Maybe. I think that I have curtailed it in recent years because, like, basically my shelves are like, I can't fit any more on my shelves,
you need
essentially.
To put more shelves.
Yeah, I need. Well, no, I'm trying to sell some of them because, like, there are games in these shelves that I've played maybe 1 or 2 times and I've been like, yeah, that's fine. But I'm very bad at like selling stuff. Whenever I first bought the house, if I kind of get into like the zone of selling stuff, I can sell a load of things. But like ordinarily, board games, particularly because there's so many like little pieces in them, are hard to ship. You know, so it kind of makes it difficult to sell them. But I plan to sell. Like, honestly, so this is clearly addiction. I am planning to sell them so I can buy more, you know. So, yes, I'm an addict, for sure.
Well, you can admit it here. You're with friends, and this is a safe
place. It is a safe place. It is a safe place.
So, do you have, like, you mentioned being at the tournament, but do you have, like, a specific memory of playing a game that was like your favorite night or favorite, you know, like one of your favorite memories?
That's a good question. I have lots of good memories associated with that. I don't know that there's anything, but like that first night I told you about in Taiwan is still resonant in my memory.
Yeah.
There was it's more like there was a group of people that I met like whenever I was in Taiwan, there was a group of like 4 of us, and we met and we played through this sort of game every like Thursday night for like weeks and weeks on end, and it was just such. I still remember those nights. I don't really remember the game that well, but I remember just being with people and having a nice time. But I've like had so many. So basically, a group of friends and the kind of board gamers who go off to Essen and things like that. We sometimes just like hire an Airbnb, and there's be between like 8 to 12 of us, and we'll just like play games for like 4 days straight, and it's just such a nice way. I mean, we something that I had started to do is I have taught them yoga a few times. I try to teach them yoga if we've got the space. I also like to at the start of the day go out for a big walk. You know what I mean? Go out for a big walk. Then I've earned my board games for like
then I can be
hours.
Sedentary for like 9 hours.
Exactly. I can have like 10 hours straight of board games and not feel guilty about it, you know. But I just love those things, and that's just such a nice group of folks just to, you know, some of them I won't see for like months, and then it'll just be like, yay, we're back.
It's like having a LAN party.
It is exactly like having a LAN party. Yeah.
I love it.
So no specific memories, but lots of nice ones, I would say.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. And I love that you do that, where you'll like get a place, all hang out. Do you cook for everyone?
Yes, nearly every time. I have some pretty interesting. So one of the times I've been making this like I can't remember what it was, but it was like salt and pepper like tofu dish. It was really tasty because you know, I'm increasingly not eating meat, so I was kind of making them sort of vegetarian or vegan dishes. Mm-hmm. And I as part of this dish, you have to dry fry some Sichuan peppercorns, right? And I was like using a hob. This is the problem with cooking in kitchens you're not used to. It's a freaking nightmare. So like the housing, so the knob, the dial, or I guess what you would call it, was like broken. So it was like you didn't know
you were just guessing
where you were setting it to. You were just guessing. So I put a handful of peppercorns in this. I'd heated it on this pan. I put some peppercorns in. They immediately immolated, like they went on fire. The smell came off. I basically pepper sprayed the entire house.
I was gonna say, isn't that what they make pepper spray out of?
Yes. And they all had to leave for like half an hour to an hour. And I stayed in because I was like, I need to finish this food.
You're like, I need a good cry.
Yeah. I do always. I like, the food got really good feedback. People loved the food, but I was just like, oh, I've pepper sprayed everybody. I'm never going to live this down.
And so, now you never will, because this will live on in perpetuity. Mm-hmm.
But I normally ask to cook, and I always do love cooking because it's always an excuse to try something, and it's nice too. I make things too hard for myself, so this year I think I'm gonna just make some like jackfruit burritos, and they can be ready, and I just need to take them up, and we can just have them.
Yeah, you can't go wrong with burritos.
No, and I've been experimenting with jackfruit a wee bit, and I think it would make. I didn't like it at first, but I think it'll make a really kind of good filling for those sorts of things.
Very good.
So yeah.
Thank you for letting me know your menu.
This episode's been a real interview, Andy.
I know, right?
About board games. It wasn't my intention whenever I set this up. But
it was for me.
Okay, that's fair enough. Okay, I'm okay with that.
Okay. Do you have anything else you would like to add?
Games
we want to plug to get as sponsors?
Oh,
or companies.
I mean, it would be tough to get sponsors from any gamers. They've got no money whatsoever. No, I don't think so. I'd like to like lift up, would be individual games and designers, but not the companies themselves.
No, I think what we're lifting up is like the idea of like gaming as a way to spend time. Build community. Mm-hmm.
Yes, very much.
Which is kind of like what we do.
It's true. Yeah, fits in with our ethos for sure.
Yes.
I don't think so. I'm just looking through. No, I think I've kind of asked you everything that I wanted to ask you.
Do you want to talk about your favorite topic ever.
What's
It's
bringing me joy?
It's time for joy time. Yeah.
Oh, Lord.
Sorry, just saying that at you.
Something like this. I know. It's like, do you remember at the start you were like dreading this question more than me, and now it's the tables have turned. I hope you're pleased with yourself.
I am so pleased. Do you notice like my energy level rises at the end, and you are like crossing your arms and getting small. Do you want to go first? Do you want me to go first?
If you can go first, please.
Okay.
Yeah, I know I have something, but it's not right there.
Okay, so do you have Hulu in your country?
Well,
okay, so
we're aware of it. Yeah.
Okay, well, somewhere maybe you'll be able to watch this. It's a movie that just came out called Self-Reliance. Mm-hmm. It's so good. I'm gonna just give you like the gist, but not the ending. This guy is walking on the street, and Andy Samberg drives up in a limo, and it's like, "Did you see it?" I've seen the trailer
for this.
Okay, it's so good. It's so good. And he's like, "Do you want to like play this dark web game where you have 30 days and you have to stay alive, and people are gonna hunt you?" And he's like, "Oh, but you know the loophole is you have to be like you can have people around you." Within like arm's reach or whatever, and if you have someone around you, no one can try and kill you because like we can only kill you but not other people. And so this guy's like, okay, like my life is boring, so I'll totally do this. And then he's trying to like convince his family to stay within like reach. He can't go to the bathroom alone. No, like he can't walk in the street alone. He hires a homeless man to walk with him and like guard him, and then like he tries to find someone else who's playing the game, and like it's just this it's such an interesting idea, and just the way it plays out. But you start, because it's so unbelievable that you start to not believe it's actually happening, and it's like the movie Brazil where you're like, is this in his head or is this actually happening?
Okay.
And I'm not going to tell you the ending.
Okay.
But it's worth watching. And I watched it twice. I made watch it too. Yeah. So highly recommend it. Totally brought me joy.
I think we get Hulu stuff on Disney Plus over here, so hopefully arrive on there soon enough. Yeah. Because the guy, I've seen the trailer for it because Jake Johnson, the main guy, is somebody I like.
He directed it too.
He directed it? Wow, fantastic. I didn't know that. Okay.
He might have written it too. Someone's going to correct me on that.
Okay.
But someone wrote it. It might have been him. Or someone else. Don't know.
Yeah. Some guy.
Some guy.
Probably. So I guess the thing that's been bringing me joy over the past week is that, and it's something I try to do, and it's not a resolution, is that in the new year I try to be better at like organizing things and seeing friends. So I've really made an effort to kind of like set things up over the next month or two that I'm really kind of quite looking forward to. So some like as is fitting this episode, some board game nights with some friends. But even like, I really kind of want to. I've been missing live music, so I'm making an effort to kind of book gigs and things like that in the next wee while. So that's really kind of been bringing me joy and just giving me things to look forward to. So that has been great. So yeah.
Good.
So yeah, that's been bringing me joy.
Okay.
Hooray! I find something.
Hooray! That's joy.
Hooray! Okie dokie, folks. So I think we are ready to wrap up.
Yes.
So as always. We would like to remind you to stay Bendy. I took a second.
It was so high. I couldn't go that
high.
I think your pitch is higher than mine. Bye.
How dare you? Bye.
Shut bye. Thank you for listening to Bendy, a Beth and Andy podcast. We love having you here with us each week, so keep those ideas and feedback coming. If you haven't already, please follow and subscribe to Bendy on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Amazon, and YouTube. You can listen to all of our episodes, access our YouTube videos, and subscribe to our Patreon page at bendypodcast.com. Next week, we talk about board game therapy and why playing games can actually have super beneficial effects. Don't forget to subscribe and follow us to stay up to date. And thanks for being here with us. You always have a friend with Bendy.